Oh, so good. Lara, welcome to Spark TV. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's very exciting.
So exciting. It's more exciting for me because I get to hear your story. But let's do that. Let's set the scene, the virtual scene for everyone listening in. Tell us what Hoopsy is.
Shall I start? Shall I start with how I started, or should I start with the
Well, that's my next question. So absolutely.
Okay.
So
Jumping
yeah,
in.
I'd really love to know. So, firstly what it is so everyone knows what you do in biz. But then how you got there. So whether there was a career, other businesses, like how you actually got here.
Okay, so basically with Hoopsy, what we're trying to do is reduce the amount of single-use plastic that's going into landfill from pregnancy tests. And we're starting out with pregnancy tests. And so our first product is a pregnancy test made from 99% paper. So it's a midstream test, roughly the same size as other midstream tests, but it's kind of, when I say paper, it's more cardy than paper, because people think paper, you wee on it and you'll just end up holding a soggy thing. But that's not what happens. Yes. But that is a question I get asked a lot. So yeah, so basically it all came about because last year I went to Spain and I did 2 embryo transfers with donor embryos because I was trying to get pregnant. And because the year before I'd actually done IVF in Australia and had my eggs harvested, but when they harvested them, they found out that one of my ovaries was perimenopausal, so it meant that I only got eggs from one side, and I only got 3 eggs, and only one of them was fertilized, and then it has to make it to day 5 before they can pop it in. And he or she, I don't know, this little eggie only made it to day 3. So
oh my God, that would have been devastating.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of crying going on that day. Yeah, it was. I felt like I had so many people like cheering this little eggie on. But yeah, it's just one of those things. When you get older, that's the problem, that you can feel or look 20, but inside you're still the age that you are. And so and unfortunately, when you get older, your eggs don't hold together as well, which is why you tend to miscarry more when you're older, and why IVF doesn't work as well. So then I thought, well, the best option for me is to go and get a donor embryo. And it's very hard in Australia because you've got to find someone you can't pay someone to donate their eggs. You've got to find someone. Having been through that whole egg harvesting process, it's horrible. You're injecting yourself twice a day. It's painful. You feel like you've put on 5 kilos, even though the scales say you haven't, but that's how bloated you feel. And I just thought, I don't really know anyone of the right age, because you really want someone in their 20s, but most women in their 20s haven't had children, and therefore they probably don't want to think about, do I want to give my eggs to somebody when I don't even know what I'm doing yet? And most people that donate eggs would normally do it later when they've already had their family. And also, if I went with a donor, then you don't know how many eggs you're going to get. You don't know what the chances are or anything. So I decided donor embryo. In Spain, they pay their donors, which I really agree with. The egg donors and the sperm donors. Anyway, so through all this process, I joined all these Facebook groups where, all trying to conceive and everything, and everyone's posting pictures. And so when you have a transfer, what happens is you get it transferred, and then 10 days later, you normally go and do your pregnancy test. Well, most people can't wait that long.
Of course,
so,
yes.
Yes, everyone's impatient. So normally around day 5, people start to crack, sometimes earlier. And so I'd see all these posts in these Facebook groups of like day 5 morning, day 5 afternoon, day 6 morning, day 6 afternoon, all the way to day 10. And I would just look at these and go, look, I totally get it. I totally get why people are doing so many tests, but oh my God, that's so much plastic. And it's literally being used for 5 minutes. And it just horrified me. It's not like I'm a super greenie, but I do think about that kind of thing. And
of course.
So I just thought, this just seems crazy. And anyway, I went and did my IVF. I had 2 transfers. The second one did take, but then it miscarried. So
oh my God,
one of those things. And so then when I got back to Australia, I thought, well, having done the pregnancy test now a number of different times and different ones, and I just saw no reason why we couldn't make it a more sustainable version. So and then I found out that in the US about 200,000 kilos of plastic every year from pregnancy tests goes into landfill.
Holy crap. Oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah. So, and that's just one country, and obviously the biggest, one of the biggest, but still just one country. And so when you think about all the problems that are going on in the world with climate, like the fact that in the UK, for example, landfills will be full by the end of 2030. So then where do people put the rubbish? So we need to start thinking about solutions.
Absolutely. And it's not like people are going to stop taking pregnancy tests. Like this is a problem that is going to be with us for a long time. Yeah.
Because I mean, the other option is if you don't do a pregnancy test at home, you have to go to the doctor and do it. And often you'll have to pay for that. Depends where you are and depends how quickly you want to get it done. Yeah, I just thought there's got to be a better way to do this. And I looked at the options out there, and you've got strip tests, the ones that you wee in a cup and then you dip. You've got the midstream ones that you wee onto, and then you've got the cassette ones where you still have to wee in a cup, but then you basically drip a bit onto the test. And most women, like studies shows that 95% of women prefer midstream tests because they perceive them to be less messy, easier to use, and just less fiddly. And so I just thought, why couldn't we make a paper version of what already exists in the midstream test? So I looked for a supplier, a manufacturer. I contacted, I don't know, well over 100 manufacturers around the world. Nobody wanted to work with me.
Oh my God.
What? No, we don't do that. I said, no, I know you don't do that, but this is what I want. No, we've got this. No, etc. That went on for quite a while.
Yes.
And literally one factory in China basically got it. And I think it's probably because I was dealing with a woman. I have found that this is guys don't get the problem.
I'm shocked.
I know, horrifying fact.
Yeah.
So they worked on the first prototype and got that, and that was a bit of a wee on it, and you're left with a bit of a soggy piece of paper. So then we had to like stiffen the bottom a bit so it had a bit more card on it, and then we got to the version that we're on today. And so
how long did that process take? So, obviously being in a product-based business where you do have to do all that prototyping, sampling, you're dealing with an international supplier. So, postage times, logistics, all of these things that we're dealing with. What was that process like for you?
I'm going to be really annoying now. It was actually very, very quick because I've done this a few times.
Okay. No, that's good to know. Good to know.
So I started working probably middle of September on this, on and off, but I was working full time just in a temp job while I was working out what I wanted to do next. And then I remember it was about November, I started to kind of seriously, this is what I wanted to do. And then, so probably about November, I was talking to the manufacturers, and then started applying for TGA approval in December. When I say applying, you have to fill in a form about your company, and there's about 3 million forms. We're still going through TGA approval now to give you an idea about how long it takes.
Wow.
So, yeah, but we put the official product approval in April. So this would have had a test probably would have been January, when I got the first sample, and then basically modified it from there. So it was only a couple of months.
Awesome. So that tells me there's a backstory. So have you worked in product development before? So what's the pre-Hoopsy story? How did we get to here?
Oh, there's a lot of different stories, but back in 2004, I started my first business, which was a mobile phone sock cover called Mox.
Oh my God, I love this. Yes.
So completely nothing to do with pregnancy tests or chemistry or anything, but basically I just saw this product on the streets in Bangkok, and the ones I saw were baby socks with the heels sewn in, and you put your phone in them to protect your phone from getting scratched. And I just loved the idea, because at that time you had to buy the specific cover for your make or model of phone, a bit like where we're up to now, but in those days, it was basically, if you had a Nokia, you could get something. If you didn't have a Nokia, you didn't have anything.
Yeah.
And the good thing about these, because they were socks, they stretched, and therefore you could fit them on anything, phone wise. So I had those made in China, and I actually, when I did that, I actually flew to China, met with a number of different manufacturers, and chose who I wanted to go with and stuff. And then I ran that business for 7 years. So like, I have a lot of experience.
I'm certain that I had a sock for my mobile phone. I'm fairly certain I did. So what did you do with the business?
Well, that was a bad decision. We all have things that we live and learn from, but
oh my God, absolutely.
Yeah. In 2012, I was married and I split up with my husband then. And at the same time, I got an offer on the business to sell it. And at the time I was like, no, I don't want to sell it, because if I sell it, then you'll get the money. And I don't know if I want to do that. Anyway, so I didn't sell it, and it was a wrong decision. And hey ho. So
you know what, who knows what the right decision is ever in any business decision we need to make. So you do live and you learn. But amazing, because now you have that experience in product development to catapult you, and you're going, it took me a couple of months and I already knew what I was doing, already knew how to talk to suppliers, apply for TGA approval. Like, it set you up for the course that you're on now.
Definitely. I mean, the other thing with that business is I sold into retail stores in Australia and in the UK, and exported to other countries across the world, and sold online. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. So yeah, you're right. It was just my training wheels for this one.
Oh, totally. I mean, I'm like the biggest supporter of the idea that you don't just come out of the gate with the brilliant business idea that is like, amazing. The story to get there is, the career, the 1,200 failed businesses, the this, the that, like, you kind of have to go through that process of learning all of the ins and outs of business, whether it be, something to do with product development, whether it be scaling, whether it be hiring people. Like, you're always going to make some kind of mistake in business.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that did really help in terms of, I guess the harder thing about this business and this product is the fact that it is a medical device and therefore requires regulatory approval, even though you're not eating it or anything. So that does mean the speed to market is a bit longer. So when you look at my Australian, so I was lucky in that the factory that I went with, they already had CE approval on the product. And so that covered Europe and the UK, but it didn't cover Australia. So that's why I started doing the Australian process. But it meant that, and then I got fed up of waiting when I realized how long Australia was going to be. And so then I launched in the UK first. So we launched there in July, which confuses the hell out of people, because so you're a UK company. No, I'm an Australian company, but you're in the UK and not in Australia. Yeah, I know. It's
I know, gotta love that. But I mean, that's, a really interesting lesson, right? As an entrepreneur, if a roadblock comes up, what's the way around it? So if Australia's going to take longer, go somewhere else first. I actually love that, right? Like, roadblocks come up all of the time, and it is just about adjusting and changing and figuring out another way.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess part of it was that, but part of it was that I was fed up of doing these dead end jobs to earn enough money to just basically to fund living while I developed the business. And so part of my sneaky plan was, I've got a family in the UK. So I rented out my place here and I stayed with my brother and his family for 4 months.
I love that. Yes.
Rent free. I was sleeping on a mattress on the floor, and I said, this has got to be like the next unicorn. I'm on a mattress on the floor.
You're like, the story's there. Yes. I've got all the building blocks.
Exactly. And then my sister-in-law would say, like, we watched We Crashed, that TV.
Yeah.
She went, Lara, when they make the documentary about your business and your life, they're going to be filming in our house. They're going to be filming this room.
That's so good. I mean, I love setting the bar high, right? Unicorn, dreams from the start. That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So what's kind of like next? So obviously Australia's lagging a little on the old approvals. You know, what is it? Just scale into the UK while you wait for Australia, or, you know, other markets? What's next? And you said that the pregnancy test was the first thing. So do we have an inside scoop on what else you're scheming up?
It's not that top secret, but okay, so I just like, first of all, this, if anyone's listening to this and going, oh yeah, I'm going to do that, what I'm doing is not normal. Normally you would launch in the market in which you live, and you would spend a couple of years building in that market, building up an audience, building up awareness, building sales channels and stuff, and then you would launch into a second market, second country. So first of all, to launch into a market overseas is more unusual, and it's slightly harder to manage just because of the time zones. But the other thing with our product is that, so when I was in the UK, I knew that someone would copy the product. I still have no doubt. And on one hand, it would be annoying. On the other hand, it would be good, because that would be more plastic taken out of landfills. So you kind of like...
Well, validation as well, that there's a market for this.
Well, I kind of think we've got validation now. Like, we've had so much PR, so much positivity from retailers and stuff. I feel like, I hate to say it, but I do feel like we've kind of, everyone's like, yeah, this is great.
That's awesome.
We've had like, I think we started doing PR in July, and we've had 45 pieces of PR in the last, 3 months.
Oh my God, everyone listening in hates you right now.
I know. Well, the PR agency set a goal of 10 pieces in 5.
Wow.
So we like blasted that in the first.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It has been amazing. So we launched into the UK, and then about 3 weeks after I launched, I got a call from Sophia at the factory saying, Lara, we've just had an inquiry. Well, my colleagues had an inquiry. Someone wants to buy your product in your packaging as seen on your website from us, because I have to, by law, put the manufacturer's details on the packaging. So I was like, oh my God, here we go. Thinking, I just thought it would take more than 3 weeks, but I was thinking minimum 3 months, but no. So basically, I said, well, what have you done? And she's like, well, to be honest, I hate it when people don't have original ideas and can't think up new things for themselves. So I've told them we can't do it.
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
I am shocked. This is incredible.
Yes.
Holy crap. That is amazing. Did you have a prior relationship with them?
No.
Or they were brand new? Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah, so if anyone's listening to this and thinking that they're going to be able to contact the factory and get them to make them, you're not. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Excellent.
So that was kind of a bit of a shock to the system, in that I just didn't expect to have competition that quickly. So basically, as a result of that, and also Australia taking longer with the TGA, decided that our next market's going to be, well, it could be Australia, depends on TGA, but we're planning to launch into the US next year.
Wow.
So basically that's going to require a lot of effort. I'm just about to this week apply for FDA approval, which takes 10 weeks. And then off to the US.
Unbelievable. That is so cool. So other than FDA approval, I mean, obviously, I would assume that your, stockist strategies or your e-comm strategy changes. Are you focusing on buying online or in retail stockists, or what's your kind of distribution strategy look like in the different markets?
Well, that's a very interesting question, because that's something I'm actually juggling with in my head at the moment. It's one of those hard things, because before you start stuff, I think you think, I'm going to do X. And then when you start it, you're like, maybe I don't want to do X. Maybe I want to do Y. And so I always wanted to get into retail stores, because I thought it'd be really good for brand awareness. And also, depending on who's buying the pregnancy test, like if you're someone that's had sex last week and you suddenly go, oh, my period's late, oh my God, you're not going to order online. You're going to go to the shop and buy
You are panicking. You are panicking.
Even in the Amazon 1 hour delivery in the UK, you are not going to trust that. You're going to go and to the shop and get it. So obviously by having online only, we miss out on those people. But so that was why another reason to have in store. But also, and I don't know if this sounds a bit, I don't know, but I can't really think of the word, but basically I want other people to change what they're doing, like other brands. I want businesses to realize that just because we have been making this plastic thing for 35 years does not mean year 36, it still has to be a plastic thing.
I love that.
It's actually not that hard to change. And so by also having it in retail, we get that message across to people. And I'd like to hope that it inspires other people, not just manufacturers, but also consumers to demand more from manufacturers in that, well, they've done it with this, so why can't you do it with that kind of way? And I just think that's, it's really important because it's the way that we need to go as a world. Basically.
Absolutely. And so I'm interested to know as well, from a price point of view, is it comparable to the plastic equivalent?
Yeah, on a per test basis, it's equivalent, but we don't do a 1-pack because sustainability wise, there's a lot of empty box and air that you're shipping around. And so it's not great. So that's why we do a 3-pack is our smallest, whereas you'll find like a Clear Blue and a First Response, they'll do a 1-pack. So
but I mean, who wouldn't check a few times? So I'm just trying to think, like, as a consumer, like, we have no excuse either. Like, we need to actually buy sustainable, and if it's available, why not?
And that's the thing, if that was the other, like, if the price parity is the same, then why wouldn't you choose that option?
Yes.
And if it's in a pharmacy, which in the UK we are in pharmacy stores, you kind of, I feel as a consumer, you would think, well, they wouldn't put something in here that was dodgy because it's a pharmacy.
Yes.
And so it does give us it helps with our credibility being in pharmacy as well. Because I didn't want to be, they see those dodgy shakes you can buy online that, you're going to lose 10 kilos in a week and I just thought I don't want it to be seen like that. Not that I think it would be, but I just thought the pharmacy would give us credibility.
I think it's a great strategy. I know, anything hurts in your body and you think, well, I'll go to the chemist or the pharmacy because, I can talk to somebody, they have everything that's going to cure my ailments. So, aligning to something that's going to increase your credibility is a smart move. I love it.
Yeah. So we're doing a kind of a dual strategy. And then, online, I wanted to do online because I really think we need the consumer feedback and because we are so new, and it's great because I've got WhatsApp on my phone and people just WhatsApp me.
Oh my God.
I just reply. And
okay, that is next level customer service.
I
can't believe you do that. That's amazing.
Yeah, but my team's not very big, Danielle. It's me and an admin assistant. She's full-time, but this is only a 3rd week here. So
oh my God. But that's still incredible. I know plenty of people with bigger teams that would not do that. So
no, I think it's so important. So important. And also and coming on to teams sidestep, but like one of the things that's so important to me is with this business, like having been through that IVF process, having been through that trying to get pregnant whole thing, I just think it's so important that people understand what women go through, which is part of the reason I don't have any men on my team. And even the people like contractors, they're all women as well. And they've all either had a baby, been through IVF, or, something in that space so that they actually understand what's going on. And I think it's so important. It was really interesting, actually. I was doing some research for the US yesterday, and there's a brand called BFP in the US, a pregnancy test, which stands for Big Fat Positive, which, okay, that's great, but what happens if you don't want to be pregnant?
Yes. That's a branding flaw if I ever saw one.
Exactly. And so this is what I think, like, often it's like we often, when you think about pregnancy tests, you think everyone is hoping to be pregnant, but they're not. A lot of people are hoping not to be pregnant.
Yeah, I fall into that camp.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
so
wow.
I think it's really important that people on your team understand that, and also understand, like, you know, like this girl messaged me last week saying, I'm on day 12 of the 2-week wait, which is like, and I haven't tested yet. I was like, oh my God, how have you managed to hold on for so long?
Wow.
And the fact that I understand that and understand what she's going through and how it works, I think is, for us, is a massive point of differentiation, because obviously when you are a new brand to the market, you're competing with people with massive pockets. And also, you know, you don't have a huge spend on marketing, then you've got to stand out in other ways. And that's one of the ways that we try and like stand out, is through customer service, through basically being real to people as well.
Well, and I feel like that, you know, everyone talks now about community building, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's, you know, another word for customer service. You know, you should be building communities. You should really understand the problem that you're solving. You should be available to give advice or tips or feedback, depending on what product or service you offer. I think that comes back to communities and understanding your customer.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I just think, how could we, and that's why I want to answer these emails, these messages, because yes, I could give them to my admin assistant, and I'm sure she'd do a great job, but it's my business. I want to see what's happening. I want to see what people think. I want to see if they're having problems, because you can get so close to stuff that you just miss the blindingly obvious. And you sometimes need people like your customers to point that out to you. To be able to produce the best thing.
Totally. And it's also like, don't be afraid of positive or negative feedback, because even the bad stuff is great sometimes, because you're like, oh, awesome, I can fix that. I just didn't know it was a problem. You know?
Exactly. I mean, prime example, and I've said this to retailers, like, well, our product's in a tube. And when I designed it, I was like, this is cool, it's going to stand up on the shelf, it's brown paper tube or cardboard tube, and compared with all the other tests, which are really bright and shiny, literally bright and shiny, wrapped in cellophane. But then I got it and I went, this looks great, but it's going to be quite expensive to post because it's so fat.
Damn it.
Didn't really think that through, did I? So now the next production run is going to be moving to a cardboard, a rectangular shaped cardboard, but it's just one of those things, you can get so carried away in the moment of thinking something's fabulous, and then you don't think about all of the other applications of it.
Totally. And sometimes you literally don't know until it's in your hand, or you go to send the first one and you're like, oh crap. You know, it is, as a business owner, you are thinking of everything. So sometimes it's difficult to see, like you said, like what's so close to you.
I mean, because to change packaging will reduce the cost of postage by 50%.
Oh my God, that's worth it.
Yeah, because the product is so light. And so it's a complete no-brainer. I mean, I do think the round one looks nicer, but at the end of the day, we are in business to make money as well as to save the world. Well,
absolutely. Well, both should go hand in hand. We should be, you know, making more money so we can create a bigger impact. I always think. I love that. Definitely. I love that. So to wrap up, because this has been an awesome conversation, thank you. We have, and so I'm just reflecting on, you know, you being a 2-time business owner, if not more, like we didn't even, I'm sure, get into all of the career details before then. But I'd love for you to share advice for people who are just starting out. So, you know, people who have potentially, like you said, in that corporate job that they're hating and, you know, wanting to get into a business. Any advice for people just starting out who might be hesitating to take the leap into business?
That's always a good question. I think it reminds me, in fact, I was saying to someone the other day, like when you first start planning for your business, and I think planning is a really important part of starting a business. And when I say planning, it's like you want to think about, like, on the website, one thing I always do when I'm starting a new business is I look at the website and I say, okay, well, now I'm on the homepage, where would I go next? What would I do? And then, okay, now I've bought the product. What do I expect to get? Would I expect to get an email? What would I expect? And it's like one of the reasons I've got free shipping online is because I hate paying for shipping. I really hate it. And I will not buy something, even if it's $3 for shipping. I will not buy it because it's not free. Yeah. And I'm like, it's only $3. You could pay for it. Anyway, sorry, shipping rant. But I just think I try and think of, if I'm the customer, what would I expect? And I think that is something that people often forget. And I actually had an email from a company the other day. It was a car hire company, and it was one of those ones you rent by the hour. And I got it back 10 minutes late, and it was a charge of $5. And I just thought they'd take it off my card, and they didn't. So 2 days later, they sent me this email saying, your payment is now overdue. If you don't pay it now, we will take this to debt collectors, basically.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, I understand you want your money, but that is not the way you keep a customer.
Exactly. Wow.
And I think that's the thing, is to think about, if you were the customer, what would you want this business to do, to say, to be, to stand for? How would you like to be treated if you were that customer? And then go through that whole, well, the cheesy thing is customer journey, but go through that whole process if you were that customer buying, whether it's online or in person. And then it's like, when you get the product, what would you want to get? And it's like, I don't know about you, and I know this is different. And that's the other thing I think that we often forget, is some things are different for, well, things are different for other people. Some people love it when they get something and it's got a handwritten note, or it's got like wrapped in nice tissue and stuff. And yeah, I like that. But at the same time, I'm like, waste of paper, straight into recycling, the whole lot. Like, how long did that take? I don't know if it's really worth it. And so we just ship it, the product. There's nothing else with it. And then we rely on electronic means to communicate with customers. And I'm not saying that's the right way, but I'm just saying that's the way that I've decided that we're going to do it, because part of our whole thing is sustainability. So we shouldn't be putting extra things
to your brand values. Yeah.
So I think there's those kind of things you've got to think of as well. Yeah. So brand values are really important. And I think it's hard when people say that brand value thing to you, you go, like, you then have to Google, what are brand values? And you're just like, I don't know what they are. But you just need to think about, what do you want your companies to stand for? And I think that's kind of the two important things. If you can get those two things right, and then sorry, I'm waffling on here, but
no, give it to me. I'm literally just taking notes myself over here. I love it.
One thing I have found exceptionally amazing in this business, and probably in others that I've run, but particularly in this business, is asking for help. Like, that is one thing they say a lot, you should ask for help. And I am one of those people that will ask for help. Like, I cornered someone's husband at an event last week because he was a CFO, and I was like, yeah, I'm a bit stuck on my budget, so I've done this and this, is this right, or should I be doing this and this? And he was quite happy to, but I think that I've now got, so I'm part of a group called Climate Salad, and if you're doing a climate startup, then definitely join. It's $100 a year, which is like nothing. Yeah. And you just get so much support and help. And I've been through their accelerator, and I've now got a number of different mentors, and they just send me stuff.
Wow, that's so cool.
You should look
Climate
at this, Lara.
Salad. Awesome.
Really, really good. And my distribution dilemma I'm having at the moment, I just emailed one of my mentors today and said, can I have a chat to you about it tomorrow? Because I think that's the other thing, if you are a solo founder, it's very hard because you've got no one to bounce things off. And I'm single as well, so no partner. And so, and you might have a partner, but they might not be interested. So anyway, but that's really important, I think, having that person because we have our calls, and she's like, I don't know how you find this helpful, because I just throw a spanner in the works every single time we talk. And I'm like, but that is what is so helpful, because you just question things and you go, really? Are you sure you want to do that? Do you want to do this? Have you not thought about that? And how are you going to cope doing that? How are you feeling? How's that, 3 million hours a week of work going, kind of thing?
But it is, sometimes it's just that person that kind of like, or even talking out loud. I was on a call today and it's just the literally saying the words out loud and not in my brain. I was like, oh, don't worry, I already know the answer. It's great.
Yeah, totally. And I think, I know I'm someone that processes information by talking about it. And it depends on you, but that for me has been really amazing. And what has amazed me about this business is the number of people that just fall into my lap. And that sounds like a doctor, a GP in the UK is now writing content for us. And we're going to be in Grazia magazine in 2 weeks because of a piece she's written. And we're not paying her. She's doing it because she loves what we're doing and she wants to spend more time doing that. And this is a good way for her to kind of cover both options and build her profile. And I'm just like, when you have something that people love and they just want to be part of it. And it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That is absolutely incredible. I must admit, I love the way you described, what would your customer expect? I literally just wrote that down because I'm like, that's such a great way, you hear brand values, customer journey, and you're like, what the hell is that? It's just like, just think about what your customer would expect from you as a business. Like, it's just such a great way to put it and so essential. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. I think, well, if we don't have customers, we don't have business. So it's kind of important.
Hit the nail on the head. I love it so much, Lara. You are incredible. Thank you so much for spending your time with us on the podcast on Spark TV. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. And literally we just cut it there. So you're incredible. That was easy peasy.
That went so fast. Yeah, great.
Oh my God, it always does. It literally does. It's I could talk for hours and I'm not even lying. I literally was like trying just to slyly write things down. So good. I really appreciate it.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad it's helpful. Well, yeah, if you want me to come on again, happy to. I love doing this kind of stuff. And
so good. Happy
to do something a bit more like, it's really hard, the whole startup thing. There's so many things to say and get across. And
totally. Yeah.
So yeah. And I think this is my 7th business. So
7th? Holy crap. What is wrong with you? Sucker for punishment.
No, I just passionate about different things. I think that's the way I like to put it.
I love it. I have 2, but that's enough. It's enough.
Okay. So what are yours, Danielle?
So Spark. So we do sales. It's mostly sales training for female founders. And then Scrunch, a piece of software that we developed that matches brands and influencers. So I was like an influencer marketing company. Yeah. So,
I should talk to you about that. Is it just in Australia or is it?
No, it's global.
We are doing influencer stuff at the moment and it is such a pain in the bum.
Oh my God, it is, isn't it? Influencers are a rare breed of something.
I mean, some of them, like, you'll get some 100,000 follower people that will be amazing. And then you'll get some 1,000 follower people that'll be like, yeah, that's £500.
I know, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. I've got a little pricing guide if you ever want that as well. Like it should be paying. I'll flick that over to you. It's just
that would be awesome.
It's a good little sense check on what these people are asking for. It's interesting. So we do the software and an agency, and we've been doing it so Scrunch has been my main business. This is kind of just cropped up as a bit of a passion project because I'm a salesperson. But yeah, so we've done it for 10 years and you will be shocked what influencers come up with sometimes. It has been a very, very interesting ride.
Well, so how does Scrunch work? You put like a thing saying you're looking for X, Y, and Z, or you approach them through the platform, or?
No, so it's a discovery platform. So basically you do your search and it has all of their info, all their audience insights, and then you can either, their emails are all in there, so you can contact them directly, or you can export, say, a massive list and then do like more of an EDM and, approach them that way. So so you don't actually communicate through the platform and you don't put the campaign. It's more discovery and analytics.
Okay, fab. No, I would definitely look at it because we're trying to get some more people onto our affiliate program, and
Oh, so good.
so
Yeah.
that would be great. And it's always hard to work out where people are from because at the moment we're only selling in the UK and Europe, really.
Yes.
So that's the challenge on socials, that half the time. So my admin girl, sometimes she's like, yeah, well, I've just watched some videos to see what their accent is, and then we can work out where they're from. And I'm like, well,
oh no, oh my God. So our platform's literally $10 a month. So if she's spending any longer than like 10 minutes on this, pay.
I know she's in the Philippines. I pay
oh, well, then
$10
there you
an
go.
hour.
Oh, there you go. Oh, amazing. I was like, if anyone's spending time looking for those things, then do a $10 subscription and
oh my God, that's so cheap though. Yeah, I'll look at it. I'll definitely look at it because we still need some more people, and because obviously you can contact 100, but that doesn't mean you get 100. So you've got to.
Yeah, there's usually about a 30% success rate we find. So reach out to 3 times the volume that you want. Yeah.
It's just that our area is obviously quite niche, so it's might not be the volume, but
Love it. Well, yeah, if she has any questions or you have any questions ever about that world, always feel free to drop me a line. I'm so happy just to share, tips, tricks, advice, whatever. So
okay, fabulous. That sounds good. Thank you. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, so good to meet you too.
Where are you based? Where?
I am in Western Australia.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so I am living in Kalgoorlie at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I'm a Brisbane person my whole life, and then we moved here at Christmas time for my partner's job. So I'm still adjusting, but no, it's fine.
Okay.
Well, where are you?
I'm in Sydney, so Manly.
Cool. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, yes. I wasn't sure. So we had all the time change. I think, did that happen last night? Or
no, Saturday night, Sunday morning. Gotcha. Yeah. We're now 3 hours ahead of you guys.
Yeah. I know. Everyone's been emailing me all day. What time's this on? I'm like, oh my God, bloody daylight savings.
But if you put it in your calendar, it just updates it automatically.
It should, yes, but I've had a couple of people that transcribe things into their paper diary, and it's totally messed them up. So, but yes, just stick with technology.
Well, funnily enough, my admin assistant in the VA, I phoned her yesterday at 10, which is when she's supposed to start, and she had forgotten about the time change.
Oh,
she was still asleep.
Oh no.
Because 10 is normally her 8 in the morning, so the new 10 is now 7 in the morning, so it is actually quite early to start.
Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh, I need a strong cup of coffee.
I know. I said, do you want to go back to 8? She said, no, 7's fine. I was like, okay.
How good.
Yeah,
she sounds amazing already.
Yeah, she is good. There's a few things but I think you get that with everyone, and also you kind of forget sometimes that you forget how long you've been doing things and how much you know and how much they don't know, and so it makes it's tricky. So I have to keep going, look, I'm sorry, I might not have said this, but
it's so true, isn't it? And you kind of have to let that go a little bit. I find, like, I kind of keep going, no one's going to do it like you do it, but if you do everything, you won't have a business. So just keep going.
I know. Well, it's been so much better since I got her. Oh my God, it's just, so I'm trying to fundraise at the moment. So I'm trying to raise 1.2 million. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. So I've only just started, but.
Amazing. Are you doing that in Australia?
Ideally, because if I do it anywhere else, I probably have to change the company structure. So at the moment, we've got Australian company and then 2 subsidiaries, a UK one and a US one, because we're about to start selling in Superdrug in the UK, but they wouldn't deal with an Australian company. So I had to use the UK company for that, and then same in the US. So anyway, we just have to switch it around if we get investment somewhere else. But I just thought, well, realistically, Australia's the easiest, and we've got kind of till November. If we don't get anything in Australia, then I'll look overseas after Christmas. But obviously after Christmas here is a dead time, basically until February. So it's better to do it this way. And we'll see.
Absolutely. I Are you targeting like angel investors or like any particular level?
Well, at the moment, I'm targeting VCs because I figure that, so a lot of VCs like to be the first one in because they get to choose the terms.
Yeah.
And so if they want to come in, even if it's just like, I don't know, 500,000 or something, just, then I think they'll be happy because they got the terms, and then in theory it's easier to get smaller people in. Whereas if I go to someone and say, well, so and so says they give me 50k,
yes,
I just don't think it quite has the same.
Yeah.
And for someone at 50k to decide what the terms are, or so that's kind of what my approach is going to be, VCs first, in the hope that they'll give me some. And then I've got some, I did a crowdfunding round in June.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Equity crowdfunding. So I've got 87 investors from that. So some of them might put more in, but again, I just want to wait until I know what the deal is in terms of this, you know, because that's the other thing, is valuation, all that kind of stuff. Like, you don't normally set that, they would normally set that. And obviously you try and push it up as high as you can, but
that can also come back to bite you in the bum.
Yes.
So I've raised 3 million over about 5 years. Scrunch for the software business. And I vowed and declared never to do it again. But yeah, I have like a bunch of different contacts that might be interested if it becomes helpful. But mine are more the angel level. So like scale investors and Brisbane Angels are one of ours. Who else? AC Innovation are my favorite investor. So if the angel level ever becomes interesting, I'm super happy to share those contacts if that's helpful as well.
No, definitely, that would be. I've got 2 meetings with VCs next week. I had one last week. I think the last week one told me today no, but I think it was a brush off. She said no because your test is in a plastic pouch.
What?
And I was like, yes, but the second version's not going to be. But thinking, you didn't even ask me about what was going to change from version 1 to version 2. So I'm sure it's just an excuse. Anyway, whatever. But so, yeah, I will definitely, unless someone just comes along and says, okay, Lara,
here you go, here's all the money. Yes. Oh, I am crossing my fingers for you that is exactly how it happens. That would be amazing.
Wouldn't it just? I know, it would be so good. So I've got 1 meeting this week. 2 next. One's in the UK. So if I get the UK one, I have to, it's called flipping.
Yes, gotta love it. Oh yeah, well, we started out thinking we'd raise capital in the US, so we have a US parent company and an Australian subsidiary, and then we got all of our money in Australia. So yes, our structure is so annoyingly complicated, but anyway, what do? You just keep going, live and learn.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's amazing because at this stage, like such an early stage company, like you've only been trading for a few months, I found it's been really hard with all this kind of structured stuff, because most of the time you deal with that when you're much bigger, and therefore you have people around you that, like the accountants and stuff, which are more experienced in that. Whereas I've been having to go to people and say, so how do I attach my UK company and my Australian one? Because I've got own all the shares in the UK one personally. And if I start selling stuff through there and then taking the money through there, then I think that's embezzlement or something. So I probably should sort that out.
Totally. Oh my God, that's hilarious. I know. And it's so funny because it's then like also not what you're actually doing. Like you need to focus on product and customers and growing the business. And there's all this stuff that you're like, what the heck?
Yeah. Exactly. It makes, and actually, like, I did some great networking in the UK. Like, that was really good. I've got a lady I'm speaking to in 5 minutes. She's she has a prenatal pregnancy vitamin business. Cool. Very similar space, and but she's about 3 years ahead of me. So really helpful in terms of contacts and stuff. So it's
that's awesome. It's so good when you do find those people that are super helpful.
It does amaze me. Like, there's a period Undy company in the UK, and I got introduced to him by a random guy who a friend of mine introduced me to, and he was a bit like, laddie and a bit, and he was an investor in this company. And I asked him how he was as an investor, and they were like, yeah, he was useless. He's never done anything. But considering he's got all these contacts. But anyway, and this guy is just like, Lara, if you want any introductions to any of the retailers we're in, just let me know.
Wow. Oh my God.
I know.
That's incredible. I love it.
Emailed him a list.
Holy shit.
I know. Who does that?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. I love it. That's awesome. That is awesome.
So it's just amazing. And I'm just like, it wasn't this easy on the other businesses. I don't know. It's just different.
But I think, you know, each time you do it, it just does become that little bit easier, you know, and there's just a couple of tricks up your sleeve that make moving to the next point a little bit quicker. So it's so good. I love it. Awesome. Well, I will let you get to your next meeting. And thank you so much again for spending the time. This will come out 1st of November. So I'll share everything.
Okay, awesome.
Tag the crap out of you, all of those good things.
Awesome. Thank you. That would be great. That would be good. That would be really good. I look forward to, well, actually, to be honest, I won't listen to it. I have to be honest, because
don't. That's
no one likes listening to themselves. But
that's fine. We'll just make sure you're tagged so everyone knows.
I'll just share it with people. That's fine.
Yeah.
Trust that you've done a good job until someone says, oh, but they put that bit in. I'm like, oh God. Anyway, no, I'm joking. Okay.
Perfect. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.